One of the ways I can tell whether or not a winery is going to be good, especially a boutique winery, is how their blend is. So today, we're going to go ahead and try Walter Dacon 2013 Skookum Red Blend Super Tuscan style. Stay tuned. Good afternoon. This is Scott. You are tuned in to the Rookie Wine and Whiskey Enthusiast channel, and should be YouTube's still only primarily focused Washington State wine review channel, but not exclusively, because we also do whiskeys, we also do other wines, but mostly I try to explore Washington State boutique wines. And this last weekend, one of my hobbies is restoring old tools, and I was going out to a giant swap meet and power engine show out in Shelton, Washington. And as I'm driving down the road, I went ahead and saw a sign that said "Big Giant Barn Sale." Of course, as a junker, I can't help but turn down the road. And as I'm driving down the road, there's this winery right there. So I make a mental note of it. Go to the barn sale, find nothing. Go up to Shelton, find a few items that I'm looking for. And on the way back, I'm like, well, that winery was closed. Let's go ahead and see if they're open now. And they were. And it was the tasting room to Walter Dacon. And which brings me to my kind of a little rant. One of the worst things about Washington State is that it's like herding cats with regards to some of these wineries. If I had not seen that giant barn sale sign, I would have never known this winery existed. So somebody at the Washington State Wine Commission, or you need to do a little bit more promotion with regards to Washington State wines. That being said, I went and tasted their wines, and I walked out with two bottles, one of them being this 2013 Skookum Red. Now, what I said in my intro is for me personally, one of the things I focus in on when my wife and I go to a winery, I want to know how they treat their red blend. Is the red blend, do they take the red blend and take care of it, or is it kind of an afterthought? Because with a lot of these wineries out there, and I've had a lot of really bad red blends that are from boutique wineries, it's the grapes that are left over from the regular production of what they were producing in the first place. So to me, when a winery puts together a good red blend, it shows that they care not only with what they're primarily doing on their main bottles, but also they want to put out a good red blend, or a good white blend too. So anyways, this particular red blend is considered a Super Tuscan. Now, what is a Super Tuscan style? Super Tuscan came around, I believe the phrase came in the early 80s. And what it was is you had Italian winemakers that wanted to up their game a little bit. So they would take an indigenous grape, like a Sangiovese, and they would blend it with indigenous grapes. Okay, so this is a primarily 46% Sangiovese, 30% Syrah, 17% Grenache, and 5% Mourvedre. That's why it's considered a Super Tuscan style of wine. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now, the color on this, it's translucent, so you can see through it, but the color is of red brick. Red fireplace brick. So now the other thing is as I'm spinning it around, this has some, for a red wine, this has some really long legs that are clinging to the side of the glass and going back down. It's exciting. Let's go ahead and take a nose on this. So right off the bat, I'm getting some blackberry, some clove, some wood, almost like sandalwood, red currant, leather, and thyme. I almost always get thyme with Sangiovese or Sangiovese blend. So, boy, the nose on this is good. Let's go ahead and take a sip. On my palate, the first thing that hits, there's a peppery note. That clove kind of transforms into a white pepper note. There is some clove still on there. There's some red currant. There's some tobacco now, kind of a tobacco note. I think that's probably came from the sandalwood. There's also some vanilla notes that are kind of lingering. And the leather note that I'm tasting, it's sort of like an old leather. Now, the body on this wine, this is a medium to a medium plus bodied wine. This is a good. It holds on. It lingers in the mouth. Now, with regards to sweetness, there's almost no sweetness in this wine, except for maybe the vanilla as it comes out. You have the tannins. This is a medium to medium plus tannin. Now, this is 2013 as well, so it's been aging in the bottle. It's obviously, I don't know how long it aged in the oak, and I believe they were telling me that they used both French and American oak. For this particular wine, I don't know which they were. They had, by the way, both this company had two Syrahs, 100% Syrahs. One was done in all French oak, one was done in all American oak. And when I was in the tasting room, I really did prefer the French oaked one. But with regards to the tannins on this one, a lot of Super Tuscans I find tend to be kind of gritty. This one is not. It has a very nice roundedness to the tannins. They're not overly aggressive, but they are savory. It does give it a kind of savory note to this. As for the acidity, this is a relatively high acidic wine. This is going to cut through. You know what I think would go really good with this wine is a good spicy pizza. Maybe some good a spicy Italian dish. Maybe even, you know what? Pad Thai 5 stars. Yeah, get yourself some spicy Thai food with this. This would be really good. Anyways, the alcohol, I can't help but take a nose on it. The alcohol on this, it's at 15.2%. So this is a relatively high alcohol wine. If you were to take this, if I were to take this bottle and put it down in my cellar, I think it's probably going to, it's going to last a good 5, maybe even 10 years. Though I don't think it would last that long. Anyways, my rating on this, I'm probably going to, this is a good solid. This is a really good solid wine. I'm going to say an 88 out of 100 on this. Will I go buy this again? You bet. I'm going to go ahead and buy this wine again. Highly recommend it. So, that being said, Walter Dacon Wines, you guys did a really good job. I really do wish you guys the continued success. It was kind of neat when I went into their tasting room. Like I said, I had never heard of them before. And when I went into the tasting room, they've got an entire wall of wines that have medals on them. So I know that they've been around. They do win some awards, and I'm looking forward to taking the wife out there and exploring the wines again, the entire lineup with them. So that being said, Washington State, please start promoting the Washington State wine industry a little bit more. Anyways, I'm going to get off my rant. I'm going to go ahead, finish this glass. I'm probably going to pour myself another glass and then go downstairs to my shop and play around with some of the axes and tools that I got last weekend. So, anyways, thank you very much for tuning in. This is Scott with the Rookie Wine and Whiskey Enthusiast. Have you had 2013 Skookum Red before? Let me know what you think. Have you had a Super Tuscan before? Do you have a Super Tuscan that you guys want to see reviewed? Do you have a Super Tuscan style of wine that you've had that you would recommend? Also, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button if you did like this video. Go ahead, don't hesitate to subscribe. If you want to see more content about Washington State wines, spirits, and as we explore other things, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, and then hit the little bell icon right next to it. That way when I go ahead and upload the next video, you guys are going to get notified. So, as I like to always say, please drink responsibly, and life is too short for either bad wine or bad whiskey, this is not a bad wine at all. This is a relatively good wine. Cheers.